crypto. So I'd like to introduce the panelists, but to start with, Sergio Mottola, Public Pressure, who's actually a sponsor, Sergio, Julia, and Francesca. And let's get the other panelists out here. We've got Singh, CTO of Weave Music. We have Lazar Andjelkovic, CTO of Earn.Games, Stefano Rosso, CEO and founder of DCave, and Andrea Lorini of Isolor Luxottica. Is actually head of all of their Web3, NFT, and crypto projects. So I'm going to get the hell out of here so we can get this panel started.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Great meeting you. Great to be here, gentlemen. So, where are we in crypto? I mean, I'm not sure we're going to answer in 30 minutes or something. We have is a very wide answer. I'm going to start maybe framing an idea for a conversation. I'm not going to ask you a specific question. Let's see how the table is. I know it's evening. No one really want to get into deep tech and blockchain and crypto. So I'm one of those. When I've been in crypto, blockchain, Web3 since 2015. So I think I've seen most of the alpha of the industry to grow and come together. I love it for two reasons. I think it's the biggest technology adoption that we have seen after the internet. I love a quote that is on the Polkadot Foundation that is telling you that we're basically working towards a decentralized and fair internet where the user is going to own the data, is going to own the identity, and is going to own his destiny, which is something that we don't today because with Facebook and all decentralized, we all know that doesn't happen. And then on the other side, I heard a lot about the biggest wealth redistribution that happened in the last, I don't know, maybe after the Second World War. Let's put it that way. It's so disruptive that we see, I mean, money and wealth created in completely different ways. That's my perspective. That's why I love crypto. Maybe we can do around the table and you can give me your perspective. Why did you get into it? Why you like it? Why you feel that there is an innovation worth spending days and nights in building projects and solutions? I don't know who's going to start. Maybe from you.
I can start. Yeah. Just a warning: there is going to be no alpha in this conversation. We're not oracles. You'll learn nothing about which crypto to buy. But we can talk about some of the exciting things that are going to happen. From my perspective, I work in the music business, and we're building an interactive music format that can remix songs and distribute them in video games. And one of the reasons we're doing this is to not only increase the value of the songs, but to kind of bring more transparency to the value chain of music distribution. And it allows both creators and fans to kind of collaborate and create these like dynamic remixes. And I think one of the reasons I got into crypto is because the recorded label industry is super, super opaque. And I think if we were talking about this 10 years ago, they will be super open to exploring new avenues of revenue. But in the last 10 years, when kind of streaming kind of took over and brought in so much money that nobody's really figuring out what happens next. Because 60,000 songs get uploaded to Spotify every day, but the number of listeners, paid subscribers, is not climbing as fast. So the per stream revenue to an artist is declining. 80% of artists make $270 per year on Spotify. That's not a livable wage. And a lot of that is because of the inefficiencies in distribution. And if we can upload a file to Google Drive today, why can't an artist create a record and upload it directly? Why do they have to go through distributors? So we plan to build our own distribution network this way that rewards artists to bring content to us that we monetize in video games. So it doesn't take away from existing revenue streams, but it kind of proves that there is more value that can be generated and captured.
I feel I'm generally sitting in that chair doing the music NFT pitch, but sorry.
So, at the begin of the crypto, I think we're currently at, let's say, the start, and that we see every day the more and more creators that are distributing and that are putting into the whole space. I'm a CTO of Earn.Games, and we do a whole ecosystem that's implementing gaming, learning, and earning all at once. And the thing with the crypto is that we are currently yet to see mass adoption. I got into the crypto as early as 7 years ago. At the very beginning, I've been contributing to loads of layer 1 blockchains, and this is my third platform that I'm successfully building with my team. And from that experience, I could say that we are yet to see what crypto and what the whole space, not talking just about the technology, but also talking about the people, because the technology is one and the community is other thing. I think that we're yet to see what we are going to achieve in next 5 to 6 years. I think we're going to achieve what's called the mass adoption in our space. So that's a short answer to that.
I mean, on my side, I'm a late adopter because I really got close to this space probably in 2019. So it's a long time if we think about crypto time, but it's not long if I compare to some of the fellows in the room. And from my perspective, we looked at it as a great opportunity, as a great tool to change the way we live. And why it's so prominent, you know, my background is all in fashion and lifestyle fashion. Why it's so interesting is because it's a new way to change the process of interaction with users, with your community, and it gives freedom to the community to really be in charge and in control to what they do. That's why for us it's so interesting and so important to be in it at such an early stage, because it's not a mass adopted process yet, but the opportunity to be there and learn and being, you know, doing the first baby steps is a huge advantage when the mass adoption will come. And I think it's priceless to be in this space at this time.
Yeah, on my side, I think I talked the first time about Bitcoin around 2014 to my mom, actually, because I asked her to invest some money in this new electronic coin. The funny thing was that I wasn't able to buy it in the end, because it was still the moment of, you were getting Bitcoin by exchanging Dungeons and Dragons card on, forum online. And so I'm one of those who managed to get in the first wave and not making any money out of those. So don't listen for me for investment. Where we are, I think I've seen the wave of adoption on various markets. I did my degree thesis in 2003, and the title was Social Media Network, the Case of Second Life, which for those of you who still remember, because 20 years had passed, unfortunately for me, but it was the first probably metaverse, and what really resonates with me compared to the moment where we are right now with the metaverse frenzy and so on, the subject of my thesis was this lady from Hong Kong which became millionaire by buying and reselling lands on Second Life, so it's exactly like this. After that, I saw the influencer wave. I've started to work with influencer, I think it was 2009. And by 2011, people were saying, okay, influencers are done. There's no more space for them. It's just a phenomenon of the moment. I think we can still say they're still here. And I think we are in that moment of retracing. We had the 2 years from 2019 when you joined the market until probably last winter, in which there was a huge boom. I believe also driven by the fact that if you give human beings something to speculate with, they will speculate. And so there was the NFT frenzy and so on. I think that now we are, it's the moment for builders. Everybody's running away, the prices are going down, but in reality, if you really take a deeper look at the market, you're going to see that basically the corporates that 2 years ago, they weren't in the space, they're all investing in the market right now. Builders are doing amazing stuff, so I think we are in the beginning of the real beginning, let's say.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, early adoption, we've seen 10 years of early adoption, experimentation, a lot of stuff went wrong. Stella Luna went wrong, Terra Luna went wrong, a few things went wrong, but other stuff is actually working very well. Like, there is gaming and somehow corporate and NFTs, which I think is a sort of common argument here on the table. And that I think is a good point to say where we are. Like, I think that now we are in a bear market, as we say in crypto, which means prices have gone down, investment are going down, and we're building the next wave of solutions. And I've seen two trends. Then maybe start with you, and then I move towards Stefano. Like, corporates are looking at the metaverse. Is that right? What's the metaverse for a corporation? What's the angle? How they look at it? Why so interesting?
So I won't speak for my corporation. I will speak in general for corporation. What I'm seeing is that, I mean, especially in the fashion, luxury, accessory business, as you know very well, when there's something new, everybody needs to do it, especially if the long tail already happened. So the Gucci, the forefront of innovation, marketing, brand innovation are doing something, then everybody's doing it. What I'm seeing is that right now, many of the companies that are doing something in the metaverse are doing it more with a communication goal. So basically, they say, okay, we got into the metaverse, we bought the land, then we will figure out in the future what we're going to do. Yeah, I think it will take some time. The big advantage that I see for those companies who are investing right now is they are going to be the first one to really understand how to manage these new languages, and especially what kind of figures they will need internally in terms of HR and like hiring people that are fitted to these new languages. I was talking with another brand recently, and they say it's so hard to find a Discord community manager. We try with all our social manager to put them in, but it doesn't work. I mean, it's two different jobs. Really, two different jobs. The second one doesn't exist yet, and so it will take time. But like starting before, you will know better than others and faster what you will need.
Stefano, anything to add here?
No, I mean, I'm totally aligned because I believe the real evolution for brands to come in now, and the really important thing is that you have the time to learn. And what a lot of brands don't understand is that the language and the processes inside the space, it's what everybody will do in the next 5 to 10 years. So the earlier you know it, the more you get your company ready, to be there when, again, mass adoption and volumes will come and you will really monetize on it. So it's a funny conversation I had with my fathers 2 days ago, and we were trying to convince our CEO of the group, saying, listen, stop asking these guys to generate revenues today. It's not going to happen, and if it does, fine, better, but that should not be the goal. The goal is to change the mentality of our companies and our CEOs in our companies. And it's pretty impressive actually to hear a 64-year-old person thinking like that, because it is not so common. Usually they tend to be kind of still, on their major uncomfortable zone where they are cashing and making money. And again, is a change in the way we are living that is the big revolution. It's not on selling JPEGs.
But would you agree if I say that we are in the learning phase? Because to be honest, no one can come up with a statement. No? NFTs for a corporation are going to be 1, 2, 3, and 4. No one knows. I mean, I haven't met anyone that is able to give me a shopping list. Is that the case? Or we are in a phase where, okay, there is an opportunity, there is something going on which is quite interesting. It's been lasting for the last 10 years. It's been growing and growing. More people and more people are using it. It's producing more and more results. So I've got to participate. But that participation is experimentation. Is that right? That's it.
On my side, 100%. There is not yet something that is written on stone. I mean, I know my fashion cycle. It's been going on for 50 years. It's always the same. Seasons, presentation, fashion shows, blah, 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 blah. This space, tell me something that is standard in this space, and I will shake your hand because nothing is standard.
No, something that was not standard, it was the play to earn. Right? That one was a shock. I remember it was in 2020, I saw the first deck and white paper of Axie Infinity. I was a crypto guy. I was sitting down there and I say, I don't get it. Like, I'm not sure how this thing is going to work. And then we somehow have seen how it's booming. So from your side, I think you're both looking into gaming, right? Why do you think gaming is, becoming the vehicle for the experimentation? Because another position of the industry is that it's the biggest, if you want, case study has been gaming for the last 24 months, and everyone expected it's gonna keep on growing. New business models, so the play to earn was something that was not existing, right? No one thought that through playing a game you can earn money. NFTs, assets, so what's the angle?
Well, I think that the gaming are the most people that are attracted to gaming are the younger generations, and those generations are going to be the key people that are going to develop and create blockchain and crypto technology as it should be. So they're not just earning money, but they're also learning. And the key to the people are that, how do they earn our money out of nothing? That's the question. Why can I just play a game and earn some money? So you're not earning money, but you're earning a token, an item, something that's going to be worthy if you manage to make it worthy. If you make a good score, if you play a tournament against the people, if you get good at what you're doing. So I think that play to earn, play to learn also. It's not just play to earn. There's a concept of play to learn and play to earn. Those are the concepts that are currently being the most trending, and the gaming industry itself has been the industry that's been mostly attractive and mostly developed in the last 2 to 3 years. So that's the main arch of the whole gaming community right now. Everybody's switching to crypto and Web3.
Plus, it's completely digital. So in some way, you say,
digital, yes.
I don't need to interact with the traditional world, the rules, the regulation, whatever is going on. I'm there, I can design my environment and start experimenting. And that's interesting, because if you add the music and then you put it into gaming, you have two industries working together in a completely different way compared to what is happened traditionally.
The interesting thing about the gaming world is that it's been around for so long. It's been before crypto was born. And they really do have, the technology and the infrastructure can be leveraged for the kind of experiments we want to do in crypto. And the parallel I like to draw is that in the real world, we do work to earn. And then in the virtual worlds, we do create to earn or play to earn, where you are creating some value that can be recorded. And it might not be value that you can transfer or trade right away. It might come like 10 years from now that your Axie Infinity is worth something again. But the initial value capture is what, personally, I think is what NFTs are about. NFTs are not a product, it's a technology. It's a way to capture something happened that you might want to give away later or fractionalize later. So every time value is created or captured or received, we want to be able to document it in a fair manner. And that's where I think gaming just has the technical foundations for us to build on top of. And one of the foundations we are personally interested in is how do we make music more interactive instead of this thing that plays in the background that you listen to. Live shows are one of the biggest earners for artists, and in the metaverse we've seen already live shows, but we think that instead of taking traditional static streams, if we make music the core of the mechanic of interaction, we can increase the value of both music and the environments that you're playing in.
Yeah, absolutely. Plus, understanding how to monetize and how to affect the ecosystem with incentivization and finance is not that easy.
Yeah.
We are in a world where we're still fighting inflation and we don't know how we're going to do it. So, when they tell us you haven't figured out now how the ecosystem, the token is going to work, why Axie Infinity lost value? Because we're still figuring out how that ecosystem is going to operate economically.
Fiat is also not stable, right? If you tell me that your fiat is suddenly worth more than it was yesterday, it's not stable. The virtual worlds just open up the door for more experiments. And you can do these experiments in smaller economies that can sustain themselves, right? Our goal is to build a music economy where there's a lot of creation, a lot of consumption, and hopefully that can sustain itself, and that's what our token value will represent. Might not happen. But if we have these small pockets, and because it's a digital network, you can trade between these small pockets. If I create some value here, and suddenly it becomes usable for you, I can provide some value to you in exchange. exchange tokens.
Shall we ask if they have any question? Maybe it could be interesting to see how the crowd thinks about crypto. No, please go.
Yeah? No, okay.
Bye.
No questions? Okay. Okay, apparently I'm addicted to asking questions. So, yeah, I do believe that games are important for the for the bringing people into the space. But how are we seeing the transfer of IP that exists in the traditional world into crypto? Because, for example, that the language of gaming is much simpler than candlesticks, charts, and order books on exchanges. So the ability for people to enter a space where it's very visual and very, it's super easy to understand. It's appealing, like for investors, is appealing to enter this space for that reason, mainly because it attracts more people. But how are brands, and how do you see brands in the traditional space transferring their knowledge and their IP into this new world of crypto? What are the things that you're seeing the most? What are the trends that you're leveraging the most? And especially for the more corporate environment, I would say.
Yeah, I think that if brands, like he was saying before, start to think about clients as investors for this kind of products, they're already wrong. But I mean, and even the way as a company and as a brand you manage your IP on the blockchain with NFTs and so on, it's something that I believe brands still need to figure out, because I saw many of them doing stuff, releasing IPs, selling NFTs with the crucial IPs of their companies without understanding that once they're gone, they're gone. So you can sell Hello Kitty, to make an example, which was quite recent. You can sell it one time. You can go on and sell Hello Kitty all years. I think the best way, I mean, there are different ways. For example, two activations that I really loved by brands were the first one, the one that Tiffany did with CryptoPunks, because it was the first way, the first time in which a brand really leveraged the community of a PFP project without even interacting with them. They basically said, "Okay, you own it, you can buy it. I'm gonna give you something," and I think that was great. The other one, I mean, what Nike did with Artifacts in buying the more than the team and the Clone X, which, I mean, cool, by the way, but they bought the knowledge. They bought really Benoit, Vasile, all the teams in Artifacts. They really have an amazing vision, and they understood better than other and before what makes sense. So those two are two ways that I think were very meaningful.
Yeah, on my side, I want to say that it's also important that companies stay true to themselves. So each brand has a certain level of DNA, history, that can be translated into unique items, also in the digital world and in the NFT space. And that, I think, is the most valuable lesson that I learned. So to replicate something that was done by other brands, just with another brand, I don't think it works. But you need to stick to who you are and what are your values and what's your added value for users, and try to utilize the technology to bring it to them in an innovative way. And that's the way we are approaching it. So in the case of Diesel, we dropped a series of NFTs, and one was a sneaker that we actually co-designed with the NFT owner, and it was a fun process. I cannot do it on social media. It's really hard, but I could do it with a limited amount of person that have invested that want to co-design with me a pair of sneakers, and we did it. So again, it all depends on who you are, what's really true to you, and I think the fan base will follow you if you are really honest towards them with yourself and who you are.
Yeah, and if I may, the last thing, I think the hardest part for every brand corporate going into the space is talking with legal and talking with compliance, procurement, and finance. Once you beat these four monsters, you're probably fine. You can experiment, but really what I see is that it's a struggle, and I totally understand. I mean, it's their job. They need. It's a tricky sector for them. But really, that's the biggest challenge so far, I believe, for every brand.
Sergio, you know something about it.
I know a lot about it. 1 year, something like that, of conversation. But if I can add one point, like this one answer where we are in crypto, we are just at the beginning. Like you see brands figuring out in a certain way how to bring IP or what they do on the traditional world and make it an NFT. Is that what they're going to be doing in the next 10 years? Maybe no. Like the example that we do sometimes in the music industry, I love the idea that music becomes NFT. But when I sit with people and I explain what we're doing is in the traditional industry, for example, the artist is here. Then he's got the manager, the label, the streaming, the platform, the centralization, and that's his customer. Does he know him? No, he doesn't. What are we doing with crypto? We're moving the artist on top of the value chain. And we say, that's your community. And that's already revolutionary because he's in control. He's in control of that relationship. And that opens a lot of ways to engage, marketing, communication. So we're going to see brand understanding how the sort of redesign is going to affect the value chain, and that is going to be powerful. It's going to be interesting. So, do we have time for another question? That was it.
Awesome. Thank you.
That's it. Thank you.